So I ended up in civil engineering at the University of Alaska as a freshman, and then I proceeded to overdo it. I ended up freshman class president. I ended up on the varsity basketball team. I ended up the assistant editor of the college yearbook, and I was taking a full load in civil engineering. My first semester I did pretty well. The second semester my grades were not great, but they were okay. But I was having something of a breakdown because I was really depressed. It was dark all the time. I was getting no sleep. I hated the courses, most of them. So I went over and I started going through college catalogs looking for, trying to think what to do. And I thought maybe architecture, maybe try something that's more artistic or something, because by then I'd kind of began to put two and two together. And I found the University of Washington in Seattle. So after a day of negotiation and being sent from office to office and filling out forms, I'm enrolled as a student in architecture at the University of Washington. Well, all the great schools, Harvard, Berkeley, Cornell, Michigan, the great schools of architecture, Penn, all had, not only did they have architecture, they had urban design or urban planning, and they also had landscape architecture. So the University of Washington was if it was going to be one of the big boys and play at the league of Harvard, Berkeley, etc., it needed to have landscape architecture. They hired Richard Haig to come. I guess they did it during the summer. So they just put Rich in our studio for the whole entire year. And then he offered this course that we all had to take. So we would find ourselves sitting in the auditorium looking at a screen that is about 40 feet wide, with Rich projecting full color slides he had taken with his Rolly in the square format in Japan on his Fulbright, that were absolutely stunning pictures. And Rich talking to us about ecology, about Stan White, a guy who'd been in the Olmsted office, making us read Thoreau, making us read, Lauren Isley, making us read J.B. Jackson. So here was this landscape architect who had a class of young designers who Rich just started telling us everything he knew and showing us slides. It was beautiful. It was this bath of pictures. That next year, Rich Haig started asking some of us to participate in projects of his in his office, because he'd opened a practice but didn't have any employees, and every now and then he'd need somebody to come do some drawings. And what do is if you're a young faculty member, you get the students of yours who draw best to come help you, for a few dollars or a few beers, So several of us in my class started helping Rich. Then the class behind me is where Grant Jones's class, some of them started working for Rich also, because by then they were taking classes from Rich and he was giving them crits and they were sitting through the slide bath.